We are back. You cannot believe it, but Spencer and I have finally found a time on the calendar to get together and record another episode of Maidenless. Our viewers have been anxiously waiting, but we're officially, what is it now, 2 days away from the NFL season. The off season has came and went in the blink of an
Yes,
eye,
indeed.
and we have hardly recorded. We're both wearing our purple and gold. Let's go Vikings. Sam Darnold is going to be carrying the fate of not only Vikings fans, but my fantasy team as well. So we'll do a couple skull claps for him. So out with JJ McCarthy potentially and in with Sam Darnold. But I'm gonna give it to you, Spencer. What's going on, my friend? It's been a long time. I looked and we last recorded on YouTube. I think it was June 12th. So it is now September and it is football season pretty much. So new place, new crib, new headphones. My goodness, he's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just happy to be back. We kind of took a couple of months off there. Lull of the off season, schedules didn't line up, but now we're back. Probably going to be back weekly. NFL starts on Thursday, and we start off with a banger of a game: the Chiefs versus the Ravens.
It's gonna be an absolute. Oh, that's gonna be. I am so excited. I'm finally getting into college football too. So I was just watching I'm watching the Quad Box multicast on YouTube TV. No free ads. Just watching just so many fun games. Ohio State's sick. I mean, there's just so many fun teams to watch. Just some memes going around. DJ Uaga Lele or however you say it. Man, he's just getting thrown through the mud. So, did you watch any this weekend at all, Spencer? Or what'd you do? I guess it was Labor Day weekend. So, did you do anything fun?
I wasn't able to watch a whole lot of football because I had a wedding, but I was
Sure.
able to catch up on all the clips and all the stats, more importantly. Some early dogs coming into the NFL
Oh
next year
yeah,
for sure. I'm excited. But can't focus on 2025's rookie in class when
it's
we can
true. It's
focus
true.
on Thursday, baby.
I know. Yeah, the rookie class is going to be it's way too far away to already. I mean, I'm pretty much tanking,
Is it
rebuilding.
though?
I'm already just thinking about it. I've got some of my players I'm
Shadur
liking and I'm
Sanders?
watching. Yeah, I think hit him with the Shadur, but we'll see. But other than that, I mean, Spencer and I, like we normally try and come together and have a big, prepared plan. But for this one, we're just eager to just chop it up. We want more memes in the main list chat. So I think, since it's been a few months that we've covered the league, we're just going to kind of jump right in. And a lot of trades have, a lot of trades have happened. And I think Spencer has pretty much been a part of almost all of them. So we'll get to hear his behind the scenes take on everything that went down. So I'll share my screen for all of you viewers watching at home and we can just jump right into it.
Yeah, there were a lot of trades since we have stopped recording. Now that we're back, let's go through all of them and tear them apart.
All right, first one. Are we surprised? Spencer and Bean squared. I mean, geez, Louise. Ben traded Chris Godwin away just to immediately want him back, and he just had FOMO. So, I mean, I guess from your vantage point, Spencer, was he just in your DMs constantly trying to get Godwin? I think he's told me personally just there were many times where he wanted Godwin and he would send you Tony Pollard and AJ Dillon, and maybe this finally got it over the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I needed another running back, and I could get Tony Pollard for pretty cheap. I love Chris Godwin, not diminishing his value, but I think
Yeah,
that they might end the year not the same. I think that Godwin will get more points, but having that running back on your bench, like Tony Pollard's pretty clutch because I think that he'll,
yeah,
no matter what, get touches. So that was kind of my thought process. It's kind of a wash, but I guess we'll
yeah.
see. It kind of all depends, but I think Godwin's in for another WR2 season.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see. Just we're in the absolute kind of like thick of the redraft season. So I was towards the end of my redraft last night even, and I'm looking at Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, and it's just not doing. I mean, it's kind of like the same with the Bengals where you're hearing Chase Brown and Zach Moss, and you're just trying to have that crystal ball of who's going to be that RB1.
Yeah.
So I mean, hell, if it's in your favor, that'll be great. But I mean, looking at this trade, I don't know if these will be any, league changing moves. You had some crazy ones later that we'll get to, but I mean, I think it makes sense for both sides. Ben gets another depth Godwin receiver, and you get to build out your array of running back handcuffs that you so have. So I'm surprised I haven't been sent any trade packages with that yet, but only time will
Yeah, you
tell.
will.
Moving down the list here. Real Slim Shady McCoy's a new team name for Shifty here. For context, he has used this for years on end with a lot of redraft leagues I've done for him. So I think he's coming back to do his championship name for a championship run here and loads up on some more depth. Cortland Sutton gives Stroud boys a 2025 second. Any real thoughts here, Spenny boy? I mean, kind of, building out the repertoire, if you will. But other than that, like I said, not a lot of game-changing trades happening at this current, ledger here.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for both teams. I mean, a second is kind of hit or miss, in my opinion, and then Cortland Sutton, the name kind of drags his value down. The team drags his value down, but I think that the volume will be there just because Bo Nix really doesn't have a whole lot of other people to throw to. So I think Sutton will be a fine flex play here and there. So I don't mind it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I think I had Jerry Jeudy on my squad last year, and I would just watch so many Thursday night games where I'm thinking Judy's finally going to do his sick route and, catch a ball. And every time it's Cortland Sutton, toe tap, end zone. And I'm just like getting so angry I have to do like 10 push ups in my living room. But I think Sutton could be like a sleeper flex play, like you said, where, I mean, I couldn't name another wide receiver on their team outside of Tim Patrick and who's the rookie that they drafted?
They
Troy
got
Franklin, I think it is.
Yeah, they got Troy Franklin.
Yeah,
I think he's
Troy
the
Franklin.
depth chart.
Yeah, Marvin Mims, is he there even? It's like, I
I
mean,
don't know.
someone's got to catch the football.
Yeah, I don't
Someone's
know
got to
what's
catch the
going on in
football.
Denver, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope
I think it
that
will be
team just
Cortland
continues to
Sutton some
shuck.
of
We
those
all hate
times,
Sean
but
Payton, right? It almost has to be. I mean, it has to be someone. Oh, here we go. Moving
yeah,
down, moving
for
down.
sure.
Spencer trading for running backs like the sky is always blue. Bunch of garage sale picks here going to Bortz. I mean, did you approach him or did he approach you with this one?
I think I definitely approached him. I mean, I think that this came. I mean, obviously it came shortly after the Tony Pollard trade, but I was looking at my bench and it was pretty weak, and I needed running backs. So I feel like trading away Chris Godwin and that 2025 second that could be good, but I feel like the other picks I mean, they're thirds. They don't mean that much to me. So um, I guess I don't know. It just kind of depends. I like it. I like Singletary for this year. I think that he'll get a lot of volume, but other than that, I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of a gross trade.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you watched the in-season Hard Knocks at all, but that was actually really entertaining and just making the case that Singletary will basically be in for like the Saquon Barkley 2.0 role. Sounds like they were trying to make moves. Tyrone Tracy gets carted off from practice to find out that he just had a rolled ankle, so that's pretty wild. I mean, we were all sending memes in there that he belongs at Weenie Hut Juniors. The fact that he's coming back and getting carted off, but I mean, I guess you don't want to risk it if it's the off season. But I mean,
Yeah,
I think it makes sense.
yeah, I
You're
don't know.
definitely in a win now mood. So I mean,
Yeah,
load up on
absolutely.
depth running backs.
I feel like for me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I like to throw Zach Moss in the category of Devin Singletary as well. They're leader,
Yeah,
they're RB1s on their own respective team, but it's not like they're great running backs and they don't have a very offensive line through. So it's just kind of more depth than
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. And it's always good to have depth at running back. So shocker. I mean, this is a repeating theme. More Spencer, more trades. I mean, but this is actually a pretty big one here, so we'll have to spend a little bit more time on it. But just Shifty and Spencer going toe to toe, sending trades where, I mean, QBs are switching hands, first rounders are switching hands, some young prospects are switching hands. Where now that this trade will look interesting that Minshew got named the QB. I think at this time it was still a QB battle with him and O'Connell. So now that Minshew's the QB1, if he has a year like he does last year, and do you still have Minshew on your team even, Spencer? I don't even know.
I do. I do still have Magic Minshew on my team.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I
We'll
like
see
this
how long
trade
that
for me
lasts.
now. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, especially looking at it now, because at the time it was Aiden O'Connell and Minshew both battling for it, and it was a 50-50 split. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like any QB could play at any time because the Raiders are just so bad, especially in their quarterback
Yeah.
room. And obviously, getting rid of Deshaun Watson, he's a more prominent QB to have in a dynasty league, but he was on my bench. And so, I don't know, Vidal, the hype around rookie running backs, I tried to sell the shit out of him. And I guess Vidal, he could still be good. Harbaugh's in LA now, so they're going to be running the ball a lot. And then Devontae Walker, Ravens don't throw that much. But I mean, I get the attractiveness of like the young talent, but for me, I'll take Gardner Minshew in the first all day.
Yeah, I mean, it all just. I see the trade for Shifty's side too, because he sent the house to go up to the 102, which we've recapped, and ended up taking Drake May, who's now playing behind Brissett. So he desperately needed a quarterback. Hopefully, we go to vintage Deshaun performance, and not vintage in the sense of his character with massage parlors, but I mean, it'll just be interesting. I mean, he just hasn't been the same since he got suspended, and his character's taking a hit, but I mean, the dude doesn't care. He's still posting TikToks in Lamborghinis and flying private, so whatever. He's got 230 mil guaranteed, so they'll have to play him whether they have a choice or not. So
yeah, I think this is definitely the year of Deshaun Watson. They're gonna.
Yeah,
I think that if he underperforms and they don't do very well, they could definitely move on. I mean, that money's gone already. So
yeah. Let's see. This was Ness. Happy belated birthday once again. This was a fab trade, $5. So buy yourself a nice chilly one on me. But I'm getting right back in the action here, actually, with Simo. Simo's probably so happy to see this trade get done with, because I was, having the position of having JJ McCarthy and another QB carousel battle with him and Darnold. This was obviously before my Lord and Savior tore his meniscus, so moment of silence for him. But I remember I was trying to get Darnold to build out my QB room just because I have Dak Prescott and then nobody else. Like I'd be playing Jacoby Myers as my QB2 in my super flex spot, so I definitely needed another QB. So I mean, Simon and I went back and forth with this trade for just so long, and then he sent me this, and it was just sitting in my inbox. And I'm not kidding. I think I thought about it for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks even, and to the point where I was losing sleep over it at times, where I just like wake up and just ask myself, what the hell am I doing? So finally, I just bit the bullet and decided to accept it.
Do you remember Simo saying right after?
Yeah.
Right after you accepted that, Simo said, "Oh shit, I forgot that I sent this."
Yeah, it was like I said, it literally would just stare at me, the trade proposal. So I mean, it definitely looks nice now, considering the price of Darnold would have only gone exponentially higher without JJ being there. So I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, thanks. I know there's some real big Darnold haters, so I'm hoping that he has a career resurgence, has the Baker Mayfield type year, and proves all those haters wrong.
He could.
You have any other thoughts on this one? Otherwise, we can just keep mowing on down.
No, I mean, like I said when it happened, I love it for you. I mean, you have JJ McCarthy on your IR, you have a starting quarterback, and a super flex league who you can start, even though if you're not going to be all gung ho on competing, I mean, it's still nice to have a complete lineup and starting Jacoby Myers in your super flex spot, and you get a second on top of it. So
yeah,
and for your team has a lot of picks, so I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how Jerry Jeudy does now. New situation, new team, new QB. So I mean, there's a lot of upside potentially there for him to capture too.
Yeah, there is.
Let's see. It looks like Bortz and Loring get in on the action. Some real gross, scrappy rookie picks getting traded. I mean, this was some insider trading. It sounds like, where I don't have this player in one league, so I want him now, so I'll throw in a third and another rookie, and I'll get a rookie back. So, I mean, it is what it is. Not much else to really talk about. What do you think, Spence? Anything else?
I mean, we'll see.
Not much else to say, right? I mean, only time will tell. I think if I had to pick a side, I'd lean towards, Tyrone Tracy. Just because I think if there's a situation where you need a running back to play right now, he probably has a better chance than Will Shipley. I also don't know about Shipley, so that's kind of all I got there. But
yeah, I mean, they're both
Tracy,
buried behind their own depth chart, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's what we like to see. These are two competitors going head to head, just absolutely shuffling the cards that they're dealt. So Spencer gets Diggs, Rashad White, a 2025 first, sends off Mixon and Zay Flowers. I remember, behind the scenes look, Spencer, you were asking me for some unsolicited advice on this trade, and the package looked a little bit differently than it came to right now, but I know there was some controversy with this trade, so maybe I'll give it to you, where some people were colluding against you, if you want to share that. Otherwise you can
Yeah.
otherwise you can keep it close to yourself.
No, I'd love an open forum right now.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, so the trade, I offered Kramer, it was Mixon, Flowers for Diggs, Rashad, a first and a second. And then he agreed to trade. I had a meeting for work, and then I come back, and then he's like, oh, I don't know. And then I was at Utah. Found out Zach Loring's the one who drove him away from the trade, but all I had to do was take away a second, and I was still fine with it.
Dang.
I think Diggs is still Diggs. I think that he'll Kramer can't make a decision on his own.
Ooh. Yeah, you read and weep, boy.
Yeah. You're getting the full scoop.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I mean it wasn't that serious, but it was just funny because I went into a meeting being like, "Oh, I just got this trade," and then I come back being like, "Oh, you had sweet whispers in your ear, didn't you?" But we ended up getting the deal done. Yeah, I like it. I mean, Zay Flowers is obviously a 23-year-old receiver. He could be WR1 on the Ravens, but I figured I could start Diggs this year. I could sit him, and then I really needed that Rashad White. I feel like that replacing Mixon with Rashad White gave me a couple more years at running back, but
yeah, it's too bad Bucky Irving will be the RB1 there.
Does, and we'll see how Diggs and I think that this trade comes down to how Diggs and Flowers do compared to each other this year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the fact that you heard whispers and then the trade disappeared reminded me of when I was on Xbox with you and Kramer. I won't tell the whole story, but I'm still bitter that I wasn't a part of that when I went to go make a sandwich. But and then last but not least, a couple trades occurred in August. This is the most recent trade that occurred, and shocker, another player I've been trying to get from Spencer that just ends up going a different direction. I've been going back and forth with Spenny Boy, trying to get Devonta Smith for God knows how long, just for him to find out that he accepted a package that I couldn't compete with. So, hard to compete with neighbors. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty solid trade for both sides with you and Simo, where you're getting one of the top rookies that we've seen come out in the last few years, and then Simo's getting an absolute stud. That's a wide receiver too. And I think they got like a new offensive coordinator in Philadelphia, and then getting a first on top of that. I mean, this is how you want trades to be done, where there's limited negotiations, limited bullshit. It's just, let's hammer a deal. I'll help you scratch your back if you scratch mine.
So I got called out a little bit saying that I don't trade like my good players and I only trade my assets. I was like, that's not true. And so after I got called out, I sent Simo that, and I was like, I want neighbors. Devonta Smith won't be a WR1 for the next 3 years. Malik Neighbors is only 21 years old. Who knows what he could do? The way that their coach talks about him and just the world talks about him, I think that he could have a monster year one. Or if he doesn't, I mean, he's cool on my bench right now behind Calvin Ridley. So we have some moves to make. But, I mean, that's the price you have to pay for Neighbors.
Yeah. Here's a hypothetical scenario. Say you're talking to someone right now, they're wearing a Vikings jersey as they're recording a podcast. They're probably rebuilding. If you had to accept a hypothetical package for Neighbors, knowing this said co-host squad pretty well, if you had to say, off the top of your head, what would your starting offer be? And then I can just hypothetically give a response based on, what your thoughts are.
Sorry, you cut out. Repeat that.
I was just saying I could give you a response to what your hypothetical package would be for Neighbors if someone sent you a package that was on the podcast right now.
If that said person was on the podcast right now, hypothetically, allegedly.
Hypothetically.
I don't know if Neighbors is on the block right now. I think I have him in my taxi squad right now, just because I think that, I don't know, because I have my only picks are 3 firsts, which I feel like I need to hang on to those. but I have a
Yeah,
pretty young team. So I don't know. I feel like if I were to trade anybody, I'd try to trade either Diggs, Cup, or Ridley just because they're older. But
sure.
I also feel like I need them to win. So as
Yeah.
of right now, I can honestly say I'm not actively looking for trades. I think that after the 1,000 trades I made in the last six
Yeah.
months, I think that I can finally settle down, let the dust settle, and then let's see how the lads do week one against Zachary Loring.
Yeah, I give it 1 week before that said dust has settled and moved on. But I think you teed it up pretty nicely where for kind of what we'll plan on doing next is just going through and giving just a rough recap and preview of week one matchups. So I mean you teed it up pretty nicely in terms of your week one matchup with Loring. So I think why don't we just start right there off rip and then we can look. I mean, pretty close matchup here, projected 139 versus 123. 56% edge towards you, Spencer. Jalen
Oh,
Hurts,
I'm
Kyler
edging.
Murray, Pacheco. I'll just go through. Everyone can look at the squad super briefly, but um, I know we were kind of talking about this right when we hopped on, but any potential start sits that you're battling in terms of looking at your bench here. I'll scroll down, but
Yeah, there is a
I
start
know we
sit
were
that I've
talking
been
about maybe
targeting.
Singletary's got good projections. Neighbors on your bench there. You have Calvin Ridley hanging out, so
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if I were to make a move, it'd be swapping out Diggs for Neighbors, but I just think that Diggs' week one projection is way too high. I don't think he's going to get like 14 points, but he could do
yeah,
more. So I don't
yeah,
know. Oh, shit.
yeah.
That's what
Let's
I'm
see, what
battling
else
with.
do we have here? We have more projections. Any other things we should look at? I mean, here's kind of different matchups. Do you think we should go one by one? What do you think?
Yeah, we could just do one by one here quickly. There's a couple matchups that I'm really excited to see.
Yeah. Which ones? I'm sure it's not the two guys that are projected 114 versus each other, is
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, sir.
Damn
Start with
toilet
the
bowl. Damn toilet bowl.
no, this could set the whole season, sir.
That's true. We'll look at it quick. It's gonna be a scrap fest. Obviously, you hate seeing you're playing against Josh Allen, touchdown merchant versus another merchant. Hopefully, Jalen Warren's hamstring is still tight, but for me personally, I'm still battling with this Zach Moss, Chase Brown backfield where if you
Oh,
had to, gun to my head right now,
you
you,
want
you
some
had to tell
advice?
me if you had to decide. Yeah, shoot.
So the news broke this morning that Chase Brown will be returning punts and Zach Moss will start as
Hmm.
the W or RB1. So I
Yeah,
think that week one you're probably pretty safe to play Zach Moss. Fire his ass up, baby.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I think I'm locked and loaded where he's the RB1. We all get very excited with rookie prospects and whatnot. So hopefully it's just all smoke and mirrors right now with Chase Brown. I mean, they're basically projected the same thing, 9.38 versus 9.84. So hopefully I'm just all I need from Zach Moss. Nothing sexy. Joe Mixon roll. Get 3 touchdowns, 3 carries for 25 yards total, and I'll be happy. I'll
Hey,
walk away with my 21 points.
Joe Mixon can have a 55-point game. Why can't Zach Moss?
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. But other than that, Benny and I are going to be scrapping. I think it'll be
Oh,
definitely
dogfight.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of sets the tail for the rest of our season too. So,
Yeah,
um,
for sure, dude.
I think let's just go down. Let's just go top to bottom. I mean,
I
here's
like I
another.
like this Simo Cami lineup too.
You
I
want to
like
do
that
this one?
matchup week one. Yeah,
All right, let's talk
very
about it.
very close.
Nice rivalry week. Hidden Cammy Blunts. I don't even know what his. I think his name's Cameron. I might be
This is.
guessing wrong.
I feel like the loser of this game has to take my picture off of their team. Can we set that as like a league standard right here? How about the loser of this game? You find another goddamn profile picture to use. How about that?
Yeah, how about the winner gets to pick the loser's profile picture? That's a good incentive.
Yes.
I
There
like
we
that.
go.
I like that. But this will be a good one. Lamar, Patty Mahomes, CMC versus D Swift, A Chain, Ashane, as Will Nasso would say.
Ooh,
I mean, this
bunch of
is gonna be a
dogs.
sick fight. This is gonna be a sick matchup here. Both these squads are
Yes.
solid, both
Who do
competing.
you think is gonna win?
Oh boy, let me see. If I had to decide right now, it's hard. If as I look at three players, it's hard to root against a guy that just has CMC just because he's a cheat code. I've been reading a lot of reports. This could be me just being bored at work, bored during the offseason about how they're going to be giving a hot hand approach in Miami. So if Mostert has a hot hand and he's just poaching touchdowns from Tua, I mean, Jalen Wright might get some touches here too. I think the one thing I will say is I think if I had to pick, base case, I'd lean Cammy, but I think Simo has so much like boom potential where his squad could just score 210 points on a given week, but if he doesn't boom, he could be pushing like me with 114 points. So gun to my head, I lean Cammy right now. What do you say, Spencer? Don't hate me, Simo.
This week 1 matchup, I'm giving 5 booms to Team
Boom!
Simo 59.
Wow.
I think that Team Simo 59 has dealt with bad luck the last couple of years in some leagues, and I think that he's going to start out in Maidenless hot and heavy. He tanked last year.
Okay.
I think he's ready to get after it.
Wow, that's so the co-podcast hosts are split here. You know what? Before I move on, who do you got winning this matchup? Before I need to hear your takes before I move on.
I think that this matchup is close, but I think that Jalen Warren plays, and I think that between Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, I don't know,
dare.
because I think that they're gonna. I'm going square.
Boo! Boo!
Beat squared by 6.
Yeah, wow. All right, Hammer. I'm taking Young's +6 every day and twice on Sundays. I'm moving on. I don't even want to talk about that matchup anymore. So we got split commissioner vote here. Split commissioner vote here. Let's go down here. Here's another big gauntlet matchup. Last year's champion, 0 time shown on the podcast, Logan Heim, versus 1-time participant on the podcast, Chuck Poppy Wheels. I mean, if you want to talk about 2 juggernauts going head to head, we got Logan, who traded away his entire core basically to Bean Squared, who I'm now going to play against. Thanks a lot, buddy. And then Stroud Boys, Mr. Inefficiency himself. He is going to be battling the start-sit problems. That's a tough problem to have, but we'll see. I mean, I'll scroll down here for you, Spence. Give you a taste, and then we'll get your thoughts on the whole load. But a lot of Falcons players. I mean,
I think I have my answer.
Go ahead. What do you got?
This week 1 matchup. Give me Logan. I think Logan's going to win by double digits because I think that the days of Kyron Williams are over, but I don't think it starts in the first couple of weeks. I think that they bring Blake Corum up to speed, and I think that it's going to be Kyron's back. He's got Kyron, Brees Hall. I think that Caleb Williams goes out, and I think that he plays amazing week 1. And that's just me. I think that Chuck has the best team in the league, but I think week 1, give me Logan's team. Give me Russ. I like that. Give me Russ. First game on Pittsburgh. Let's see what happens. I'm taking Logan by double digits week 1.
Double digits is crazy.
I think that with the volume that his players are going to get, I think that Logan wins by double digits.
It's hard to root against a team that has Brees Hall and Kyron. And just Brandon Ayuk not practicing. Puka's been not practicing with an injury. Those are his 2
That's why
anchor wide receivers.
Week 1, I'm looking at Logan's team. I'm seeing a bunch of healthy dogs.
It's true. I mean, Russ was very sneaky good last year QB 14 last year, I definitely hated watching him play, but fantasy-wise, he produced. So, 13 could be a pretty low projection when you're taking it.
And if you go off of, I think that week 1, I think that Amari Cooper could 100% score more points than Tank Dell. But also, who the hell knows who's going to get the ball in Texas?
Yeah. The one thing I would say, I've got the pleasure of talking to Chuck earlier today, where we're going through start sits projections, and he's still kind of battling between some guys on his bench, where even Deontay Johnson could get some PPR work, or good Christ, Dontavian Wicks, or this is the problem you deal with when you got a good squad, is you have too many people to pick from. where I'm broke as shit. Ben and I can't even figure out who the hell we want to start to get to 115 projected. So we'll see. I mean, if I had to decide, CJ Stroud, man, I don't know. I think this could go either way.
I
I
know,
think this
that's
is a
what I'm
coin flip.
saying. It's such a. I think that Chuck has a better team, but I think if we're looking at week one matchups, I don't know. I just think that Kamara's going to have a day. I
Versus
think Michael Pittman's going to
Carolina.
have a day. Yeah, dude. I just think that. I think that Pitts or London, one of them is going to do amazing.
Yeah.
I think that Kirk comes out week one firing on all cylinders, but
Yeah, people
I don't
forget
know.
too that a lot of outside of his quarterbacks, a lot of this squad that brought Logan to the championship is largely the same. So I mean, it's shown that it's a championship type roster. So I mean, he could
Yeah,
continue it come week one. I still can't decide. I'd have to see the Vegas odds, and I think I'm hammering who's ever at +6, just because I'm too big of a chicken to make my claim. If I had to decide, my gut tells me Stroud, but you're kind of swaying me towards Logan. So I don't know. I'm
you
gonna
got to pick
go.
one.
If I had to decide, gun to my head, I'm picking Stroud, boys, just to make it interesting.
Mm.
Just to make it interesting, stir up the pot a little bit, if I will. All right, who's next? Oh boy, we got.
I
Do we
think
even
that
need to
Kramer's
talk
going to
about
win
this?
that one.
If you want to talk about a spread, I mean, 30-point spread here, basically,
You know,
versus Kramer and
you're right.
Lance. But
I think that the money line goes to Kramer, but if we're talking pure spread here, I think that I don't think that Nessa loses by more than 20.
by more than 20 with Johnny Munt in his lineup,
Yep.
I think I'd take my chances on him losing by 20 plus against the guys CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill
All right,
and Zay Flowers and James
the
Conner.
line. All right, the line has been set for this game. It's at 20 and a half.
I'll to make it more interesting. I'll bet you $5 that we get
There you go.
Nessa. We get Nessa minus 20 or Kramer minus 20 rather. I'm gonna have to write this down. I don't even gonna remember what some of these lines are, but I mean I don't think poor Nessa has been dragged through the mud, but he's gonna prove us all wrong once Trey Lance starts in the XFL. So
Hey man, Rogers is Rogers. They say that they love Eckler in Washington. You know,
yeah,
he's got Justin
There's just-
Jefferson.
He's got. I mean, when he's got Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold throwing him the rock, I mean, what's there not to like? Another big matchup here. I think you probably know better than I do with Jort's opinion on his squad going to the league, but I know Shifty for sure is pushing his chips and he's hammering all in. So he's got that trade that he had for Deshaun Watson. Just scrolling through super quick. He's still battling some sit decisions. It's just weird, man. Every time I look at Bort's squad, I just see three of my key pieces, and it just hurts me now that the season's about to begin, and he's got three dogs, and my team's just in reverse. But
Yeah. Scroll through the lineups
yeah,
one more time.
Tua, Richardson. I mean, this is going to be another. I mean, the parity we have in this league. I need to give a
Ooh.
brief moment of applause for everyone in the maiden list chat because this league is so fun. We talk about it at nauseum, where we just always have people trading, but there are just so many good matchups week in and week out, and I am giddy for week one, bro. Giddy,
I
giddy,
know.
giddy.
In this matchup, actually, holy shit! In this matchup, it literally depends on if Jamar Chase plays.
Yeah, that's a great
Sports
point.
has T. Higgins. He's got Jamar Chase.
Josh J. I mean, this will be one of the probably the ones to
I
watch.
think that in this game, I think that Bortz is going to win. I think that Baker's going to play well. I think that Baker's going to come out and he's going to be better than Deshaun Watson. I think that Debo's going to be him. A.J. Brown is him. Bijan's him.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is, I mean, he missed some games last year, but
yeah. Chase doesn't play. We saw how he played when Chase wasn't involved. I mean, it's going to be
I
wild.
still think that even if Jamar Chase wins, I think that Bortz wins in a very, very close one. This is going to be another great matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to disagree. I think, like you said, Chase plays, I might give a 5-point edge to Jack. But, I mean, I don't know. It's harder against someone that's got Bijan and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, and I think that Debo, T, I think that Baker and Tua are going to come out playing well too.
Yeah. Lastly, I didn't give my prediction for this league, for this matchup. I'm choosing Loring. I don't even need to think about it. I just want Loring because you chose Ben, so I'm hoping he just shit stomps you. Kyler throws for 300 yards, and Marvin Harrison has 250 of them.
I haven't won a week one matchup in so long. Give me Zach Loring by 6.
You're already betting against yourself? That's positivity. I mean, I will say, if I look at the league, though, projected 139, you've got the highest projections by far. That must put a little feather in your cap. How's that feel? Jalen
I don't
Hurts
care about
playing in
projections.
Brazil.
Oh, yuck.
Checo. Both your quarterbacks are playing in Brazil. Hopefully that they make it back in one piece. Heard they couldn't wear
Goddamn.
green, but we won't get political on this chat. God, Malik Neighbors on your bench, bro. That's just gross. But I mean, there you have it. Anything else? Anything? We've been talking for 36 minutes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can really talk about to keep our listeners engaged. We've covered the waterfront in terms of league activity. Now all the talk
Now
is
we're
kind of
here.
now it's here.
All the tinkering's over with. All the trading's kind of done. The dust has settled in Maidenless, and now we're all have our hands on our guns, ready for week
Yeah,
one.
it's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I know. I can't.
I got
I
a
can't believe
question
we're already
for
in.
you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Do you
please.
think that? I mean, we can go and count them up, but
Yeah.
do you think that there's going to be more or less trades throughout the year this year than there were last year? I think that there's
Ooh.
going to be more.
I think this year there's going to be more.
Well, actually, I don't know because after year one, you kind of have those teams that, like, kind of like your team, like you have a lot of
Yeah.
firsts, and it's like, are you going to give those up right now, or are you kind of settling to like? That's what I don't know is like, who's going to
Yeah.
hold and who's going to.
Yeah. I think if I had to, the reason I say more is just because of the fact that I think more teams have made trades to put them in a position to compete or tank or kind of be in that like middle rebuild. And I think as the season progresses, we'll see some teams maybe fold and start that rebuild, or some teams are like, shit, I'm down a running back. Like, I need to trade a late first to get this guy to like help me compete. So that's where I would lean there to be more trades, because I think when you do this startup draft and you're not really knowing where your team's going to go, it's hard to predict, and you haven't done a super flex league before.
Right.
It's hard to tell. But
Everyone's
now
kind
that
of
we've
competing
yeah,
that first year,
yep, yeah. So now
unless
that
you're
you
something.
have exactly, yeah, right, and then so you have a sense of how your team did last year, so then you can kind of build off of your expectations based on trades you made in the offseason. So if you made trades to try and get better, you're hoping your record improves from last year, so it means you're competing. But then if your record was great and then you ship off half the farm, I don't think you're going to be as intensely towards the top. So I think
Right.
I'm hoping there's more trades, because I'm going to be, at the barber shop cutting hair if people don't accept my trades to try and pay for my buy-in dues, because oh my goodness. So long as
Well,
there's always going to be injuries, so I'm sure people have to trade regardless of whether they want to or not. So
I know, and it all kind of depends when the injury bug starts.
yeah, I'm hoping it's not for a while. But I guess while we're here, when we're talking about week one, let's just talk about actual NFL matchups that we're looking for forwards to.
Yeah.
I know we have a game on Thursday. We have a game we have a game on Friday. So I'm just gonna do some googling here.
Yep. I got the schedule up as well.
Yeah.
We can start with Thursday. Actually, yeah, we could just breeze through these games really quickly too. And
Yeah.
all right, let's start with Thursday. So we got Ravens Chiefs in Kansas City.
Man, I just am pumped. Talking about starting the season on an absolute banger.
I know, and I think that the Chiefs get it done at home.
Let's see. Do we have the betting odds anywhere? We could do a little gambling corner if we had to pick a line. I might be able to do it on Yahoo Sports.
Sweet.
All right, so it is Hayseed -3. You
Mm.
taking KC -3, or are you going Baltimore or +3, or you hammering a money line? What are you thinking?
For this game, I'd probably go with Chiefs money line just because I just think that they're going to outright win. I think
Yeah.
that obviously these are two good teams, and it could come down to 1 point. So that's why I think that the
Yeah.
Chiefs do get it done at home, though.
Yeah, Chiefs -150. So talk to your local bookie if you're trying to get some action in. Then we go Friday, Green Bay, Philadelphia.
Ooh,
Philadelphia -2.5.
really?
-2.5 as of right now. -140 favorites.
I think I'm. It's boring, but I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles.
Yeah,
I
you take the
think that
spread or just -140?
probably just money line again. I think that the spread
Yep.
is too close to bet on. I mean, I think that like the Packers could come back and win, but I just think that the Eagles are the more complete team. They're playing at
Yeah.
home. The Eagles are just dogs. They just have
Yeah.
so much talent, and yeah, I think that they get it done week one. And
Yeah,
if you remember, they kind
yeah.
of started hot and then they imploded late in
Yep.
the year. So
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think Eagles with Saquon is going to be a business trip out to Brazil and back.
yeah, but I think that they do allow a little bit for the sake of my week one
Oh yeah.
matchup with Zach.
Yeah.
Probably each quarterback tosses 6 touchdowns, probably runs for
Yep.
3, maybe.
Yeah, pretty quick flamethrower matchup. But as we get towards Sunday, we'll go through this a little bit faster. But we have Pittsburgh, Falcons, Arizona, Buffalo, Tennessee, and Chicago, New England, and Cincinnati. I mean, this is the best part about week one. You get on your sofa, red zone. Scott Hansen hits you with the Octobox, come right away. So, I mean, I think as I look at these matchups, the ones that I'm going to be most looking forward to are definitely Arizona, Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's favored -6.5. I think if I had to pick, I'd go. I like Arizona +6.5 here. I think Kyler Murray, 2 years removed from an ACL. Marvin Harrison, I'm biased. I just think that'll be a fun one, and we don't know how Buffalo's offense will look without
Yep.
Stephon, so I like Arizona +6 there.
Yeah.
Any other matchups speaking to you?
Yeah.
Spencer, as you're looking at this?
I'm really looking forward to the Dolphins-Jags game in
Yeah,
Miami.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I'm excited to see Tua and Tyreek and all them out. Miami -3.5. They're
I'll probably
coming
take
into
Miami
that so far.
-3.5.
I think that's fair. Miami's shown that they can just put up 60 points without hesitation on really
Yep,
bad teams.
That's why I would take their spread.
Yeah, that's a over under at 49. So hopefully, if you're a
Woo!
fantasy guy with Tua or Trevor Lawrence, you're going to be looking forward to that one. That's a noon kickoff too. Let's see as we get towards the afternoon slate. I'm looking at the schedule here. Dallas Browns will be a good one.
Yeah.
Denver, Seattle. I mean, Las Vegas and the Chargers could be fun too.
Rams
Bowers,
in Detroit.
Herbert. Yeah. Rams in Detroit Sunday night. That'll be absolutely awesome. Just to cap off we should just get Monday off from work. It should be a national holiday at this
agree
point.
because the Jets and the Niners play at night. So
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
What a
yeah.
game.
And I'd be remiss too if we didn't mention our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings against the New York Football Giants. Minnesota currently -1.5.
Hammer that.
I am hammering that any day of the week. Right now, according to Yahoo Sports, 60% of bets are on the Minnesota point spread here. So
Hell yeah.
I'm all over that. Minnesota
Absolutely.
-120, Minnesota -1.5, Sam Darnold over, Justin Jefferson over. Everyone's going over.
There we go. I like that.
Man, now I just wish today was Thursday morning. We
I
could
know.
just jump right in. Anything else, Spencer? I'm happy that the off season's over. I'm happy we're finally getting to the football another season of Maidenless, another season of football. I don't know if I've been more excited for a season in my life. I'll be
I don't
honest.
think I have been either, only because we have NFL and then you add college football in. I
Yep.
feel like people are starting to pay more attention to it. You have the NIL deals and you have the new college football playoff format.
Oh,
That mixed with this amazing season of football, it's going to be a fall to remember. And I'm so excited. And I'm so ready to edge with all of the Maidenless boys throughout the whole year. Good luck, but I hope all of your teams suck.
amen. Yeah, and I hope all of your teams that are really well come knocking to me because I'm going to be opening up shop. So I'm looking forward to talking with you all soon. Hopefully it's not another 3 months.
Absolutely not. Season is here, baby. Lock in.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.